Hey guys, it's John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur. Welcome to IFYL, Inspirations for Your Life. I'm so happy that you've joined me here tonight. It is Thursday, October 5th, 2023. Got a great quick show for you tonight. First, if you are new here, why don't you grab that smartphone for me and launch, yes, that camera app on your phone. It's very easy to do. Once you've done that, point over the QR code like so and then touch the yellow ellipse that appears. Once that yellow ellipse appears, which might take you a second depending on how close you have your phone in there, so I realize that that might not happen the first time depending on where you hold your phone, and then touch that yellow ellipse, you'll get my link tree as easy as that. If you're not watching me, but you're listening, well then go to believemeachieve.com for more of my amazing, inspiring creations. All right. I do want to thank you, whether you're here at 10 to 8 in the morning, 10 to 8 at night, 1 a.m., 1 p.m., 12 noon, 12 midnight, whatever it is, I'm grateful that you are here with me. But everyone always asks me this question, John, what do you do? I help educate a lot of people, and I'm very passionate about that, about becoming a better version of myself and helping others become better versions of themselves. But you know what I really do a lot of time? Well, I can tell you what I do. I do something pretty cool. And I actually help people tell a story that leads to them growing a more scalable and profitable business. I typically work with companies that bring in around 10 million or more, and people that know they have a story or that want me to help find that story, get out to the world so that people can learn and become curious about them, and then they may choose to want to do business with them. All right, let's get into the heart of our show, everyone. Our topic for tonight is Inspirations for Your Life. Series 2 means we're in the second year, Show 40, Episode 6. The difference between being nice and getting taken advantage of. How many of you out there have ever done something for somebody and it was really nice, but then unfortunately somebody did something for you, but then it was kind of like they got abused. Have you ever heard that happen? Like, that they got abused for their kindness. And so what I want to tell you is that people should never take your weakness for, take being that you're so weak. Um, because if you do that, it's a very bad thing. Um, and so why do I say this? I say this because people in our world, when they see something, they want to get that, right? And so when I talk to you about a difference between being nice, everybody wants to be nice, right? And I think what happens is sometimes people get crazy about that. And so what I always say is don't take my kindness for weakness because you're a strong person and people need to know that. And so the topic that I want to talk about tonight is a really important one, and it's one of my favorites on the submodality. It's learn to deal with conflict. Oh, wow, John, that's a big loaded question. So conflict can happen anytime there's more than one party and there is a disagreement. You can even have conflict with yourself between something you want to do and something you don't want to do, or some thought or another thought. You could have conflict. So, conflict just means that there is something, a force, a person, an attitude that is preventing you, or let's say at least making you want to not do something, or at least give that a thought. So, let's talk about this exact premise. And this premise is the fact that we as people, okay, need to understand that it's something very, very important in our life to do. Very, very important. And so I will tell you this right now, ladies and gentlemen. If you can learn to deal with conflict, that's a big way forward towards success. Conflict can happen maybe between friends, it can happen between strangers. So you might say, John, how do you handle conflict when we don't agree? Like, we're never going to agree on things. And, it's perfectly okay to not agree. It's just how you choose to enact those mannerisms. Okay? That's probably the most important thing. How do you enact those mannerisms? And I will tell you that it's something that's very, very important to do. I mean, very, very important. Why? I think it comes down to the fact that you as a person need to understand what it is we're doing. And I'll tell you this. If you understand that conflict happens all around us, then you're more prepared than a lot of people. I mean that. If you have conflict and you know how to deal with it, it's not the concept of if you're going to have conflict. It's how you choose to deal with conflict in your life. Because conflict is going to happen. I don't care what age you are. I don't care what gender you are. I don't care what your hobbies are, who your friends are. You're going to get conflict. And what I want to tell you tonight is it's okay to have conflict. It's okay to agree to disagree. But do it in a civilized manner, in one that makes other people happy to be around you. No one expects you to just do everything they want. They're not asking you to be a stand-up person to everything they want. I want you to stand up for what you believe is right. And if you don't like something, we'll say it. Say, I don't like that. And if you don't like something, no one has the right, I've told you, to make you feel inferior about yourself. So why are you suddenly trying to hide because you're doing something a certain way and other people are like, well, I don't know if I should do it that way. So conflict. Conflict can happen in school. It can happen with friends. It can happen in math, right? It can happen in any subject. Conflict can happen in politics. Conflict can happen in construction, right? I want to do it this way, and you're telling me to do it that way because of the code. But that's in conflict with what I want. I want a big sky window that overlooks my pool. But you're telling me that if the window is where I'm telling you to put it, that it's going to cause a problem with the town's ordinance, unless we go before the zoning commission and ask them for it. Again, it's a weird ordinance, but I'm just making this up. So when we understand conflict, ladies and gentlemen, your life changes. Your life changes. So you might be saying, John, how do I deal with conflict? Well, you respond with conflict in kind. Okay? You have to understand that conflict emanates because of a disagreement. Maybe it's a dispute at home or at work. And skills to resolve conflict will make you a better communicator. Conflict is more than just disagreement. It's a situation in which one party or both parties perceive not only something wrong, but possibly a threat. Now, whether that threat is real or not, well, it doesn't matter. The other person feels threatened. Now, we respond to conflicts based on our perceptions. And remember, our world is perceptions. Conflicts, ladies and gentlemen, will trigger emotions. If you are uncomfortable, okay, with your emotions and not able to manage them in a time of stress, well, that could be a serious problem in you being able to resolve conflicts. I was once applying for an organization. I'm not going to name the organization. And there was a lot of political mumbo jumbo. And the conflict was that they didn't like the fact that I was popular, not just there, but other places. And they felt that they just wanted to control me. And when I didn't allow that, they felt I was in conflict with their organization. Conflicts are opportunity for growth. A very wise person once told me, hey, John, if we weren't in conflict, then we'd never learn. We'd never grow. We'd never become better. We'd never continue to do business because we have to understand our conflict exists because of something that happens. But two of the greatest thing two men or two people can do is to work out their conflict. And when you resolve conflict, like in a relationship, you know what it does, ladies and gentlemen? It builds trust. And you can feel secure knowing that that relationship will last any mountain climbs, right? Any minor disagreements. And I'll tell you what happened in this situation when we had this issue, and now that we get these little rifts that happen once in a while, it's like it's no big deal. Because we went through the forest together, right? And I'm using that as a metaphor. But conflict happens, and it's an opportunity for us to embrace that situation, rise to the occasion, and say, hey, all right, I'm in conflict with you right now. I don't want to be in conflict. I don't want to have this building here, or I don't want to have this TV ad ran. The reason is the message it's sending is against what I believe in. Oh, so you're not in conflict with the commercial? No, I'm in conflict with the content of the commercial. See, people are motivated by a couple things. One, ego. Second, money. And the third is what other people think. So ego, money, and what other people think. If we learn that our ego is something that's here, and we have to learn how to tame it, just like a wild animal, right? So ego is one thing. Money is another. So if you do something purely for money, and it's not about the purpose, it's not about a reason to become better than you already are, help others become better, then you're just creating a mess. And I had another situation, I'm not going to name the person's name, where the person's going on about all these things they're doing, and it's not like they're just sharing it. You feel like they're mentioning in a way to impress people. You can just tell by the tonality or the way they're actually expressing their body. And I'll say to you that when this happens, you know what you do? You pull back. You don't challenge them. You pull back and you just stay away from that energy. If you stay away from that energy, you know what happens eventually? That person's like, hey, I want to break bread with you. I want to break bread with you. Now, you might be saying to me, John, I've had so many conflicts. Maybe it was my roommates, and I didn't know what to do. Like, do I throw them out? We've all had these challenges. Maybe you have a conflict in a relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend. And so the conflict might exist because the one person wants you to spend more time with them. And you've already explained in the beginning of the relationship that you don't have that type of time, and you still want to be free to go with your friends, and you're not willing to give up all that time. And they're okay with that. But now suddenly they're calling on the carpet and saying, hey, you don't spend enough time with me. Now, it didn't just happen once. It didn't just happen 2 times. It happens every freaking week. And so now, you're starting to grow tired of this. You're like, I thought this person understood where I was coming from. I thought this person understood that I wasn't looking for anything serious. I just wanted to date right now. And conflict gets resolved in that situation when you come back and say to the person, look, I like you, you're a lot of fun to be around, and I was very clear to you what my boundaries were when we were starting out. And maybe you didn't quite understand it, but I did say to you that I'm not looking for anything serious. And I also said to you that I'm not going to be with you every weekend. I'm sometimes going to be with my friends. I'm not going to be with you every night. I have other things to do. I'm not going to check in with you every 5 minutes. And if that's a problem for you, then we probably should just end it now and either be friends or just move on. And you said, okay. The person's like, well, yeah, I know, but, we're like boyfriend, girlfriend. Like, doesn't matter. Don't play that card with me. There was a gentleman today, I'm not going to mention his name, but he was in a corporation we were doing a deal with. He was actually a vendor of ours. And the gentleman had promised he was going to give me X thousand dollars for some sales quota thing we were doing with a large vendor. And so I get back to him the next day, which is today, and I ask him for the money because I'm putting these orders through. And he said, oh, John, I never told you I could give you that much money. I told you I could give you like half. I said, no, that's exactly what you told me. I said, just to let you know, we record all of our conversations, and you did say that if you'd like, I can give you a copy of the recording. As soon as I said, he says, well, I'm not saying that I didn't say that. Maybe I made a mistake when I said that, but I can't do that. And then I said to him, I want to get something in writing. And I said, after we get off the phone, you're going to send me something saying that if I do these other two things, you're going to go ahead and forward me that commission money, or what we call rebate money from this large company at the end of the year, or January. And he's, oh, sure. And so, taking into account, nothing had happened, 4 or 5 hours passed. He had been terrible on other things. It was just like, really, like a bump on a log. And I sent him an email before I left the office tonight, and I said to him, look, you promised from our phone call that you would send me a letter confirming this rebate money was available to me. If I don't receive a letter from you by tomorrow, you have broken trust with me, and you won't get that back. I've learned that a lot of salespeople are scum. I don't mean that in a bad way. I do sales too. But when I sell, I don't sell a product or service. I listen for the communication. And I want to be nice, but I want to make sure that I'm not taken advantage of. I want to make sure the other person's not taken advantage of. How many of you out there and give a quote, right? You go out there and do a free estimate. Well, there's an estimate, and then there's a limit to what the free estimate is. Maybe you're going to go out there and spend a half hour, an hour, but you're not going to spend a whole day and do the quote for them for free, right? You're not going to, that kind of a quote's like more of an engineering thing. And so I remember this has happened a couple times, or they might say to me, hey, John, I want the full schematic. And I'm like, I'll be happy to give this schematic. It's like $5,000. You go with me. I'll provide the schematic once you hire me. And they were taken back by that a little bit. I said, not that you would do that. I know you're a nice guy. But a lot of people would actually, again, not you, would take the quote, go to other people and try to shop me. And for like $20 or even $50, they would just leave because they felt they got a better deal. So in order to make sure I don't get taken advantage of and I'm treated fairly and you're treated fairly, I don't provide anything but the quote for you. And if you need any other specifications, you'll get those when you sign the contract. If you don't, there's just too many people out there that are trying to price shop. And I'm not in the price business. This is what I charge. If it's too much for you, I respect that. But that's what I charge. And a lot of people would then get the information, and then that would be unfair to me. So that would be taking advantage of me. So I've learned a long time ago that I need to make sure that I do the right things, I take the right steps, so that I don't get taken advantage of. So my business doesn't get taken advantage of. I'm sure you can relate to that. What industry are you in? Then they tell you, great, you're in the shoe industry, or you're in the doctor industry. Great. Well, what if a patient, called you up and asked you to diagnose something over the phone? Would you do something for you do that? Well, you can't really, right? What if it's a very good patient and they asked you to just prescribe something over the phone? Would you do that? No, because suppose it's the wrong medicine. So you want them to come down. Now, what if the person says, well, you only were here for 5 minutes. Like, you're not going to charge me for this visit. Of course I'm going to charge you for the visit. I get this a lot of times from friends that expect that we're going to do work for them for free. And I'm very clear what I'm going to do for free. And if they want extra, I'm like, well, this is what's included. If you want more than this, then we need to talk. If not, we don't have to do anything for you. So understanding how to be nice and understanding how to not be taken advantage of is an art, because you can do it and be an arrogant, pompous you-know-what. You want to be nice. You don't want to be taken advantage of. And you want to make sure that you're taken care of, they're taken care of, and if your company's there, your company's being taken care of. 3 people have to win: the salesperson, the company, and of course, the client. But too many people are right for that dollar. They're right for what can you do for me? Like this guy today was like, well, can you give me the PO? I said, I can. And he was so concerned about his PO that the fact that he was so persistent about it and the fact that he didn't respond with the email letter, I completely lost all respect for this guy. And I probably will never call him and engage him on any sales opportunity. I'll just do things without him. Even though as my sales rep, I will just avoid him, even though he's going to get commission. I just won't waste time with him because I don't have time for people that aren't going to solve my problems or that aren't going to help me. That's a challenge. So knowing the difference between being nice and getting taken advantage of, you know what getting taken advantage of is. You offer somebody a piece of candy, right? And suddenly they take the whole bar, right? Or you offer someone to maybe help them with one of your services, like maybe you put shelves up and you offer to put a shelf up in their bathroom or in their kitchen or basement. And they're like, oh, yeah, by the way, could you put one in this room too? Oh, sure. Oh, by the way, when you're here, can you put one downstairs? Oh, and we need one up in the kids' room. And could you put one up in this room? And finally, so there might be a point to be nice, you do the whole thing. But you know what's going to happen? You're probably going to have a rift in that relationship, and you're not going to want to help them. What you want to do up front is say, hey, look, I know you need shelves in a lot of other places. I'm a carpenter. I've been doing this for a long time, and I'm offering to give you a shelf in your kitchen, okay? And if you need one other room, I'm happy to do that. But I'm not going to go putting shelves all around your whole house for free. I hope you can understand that. And I'm telling you this because we are friends, and I don't want it to destroy our friendship, right? I know you're in the landscaping business. If I wanted you to come over and take a look at one of my trees, you probably would do that to help me out. But I said, hey, while you're over, could you take a look at this tree, take a look at that tree, take a look at this tree, and can you fix this tree? You'd be like, what's going on? So favor needs to balance favor. That's really important. Ladies and gentlemen, I am John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. It has been an amazing privilege, a pleasure, and an honor to be with you this fantastic evening. I hope you'll like, love, support the channel. Definitely comment below. Tag your friends, colleagues, and associates, and share this out with everyone you know on social media. And then, ladies and gentlemen, you know what I'd love you to do? I would love you to click on that link on BelieveMeAchieve.com where it says help keep our content free and make the choice. Buy my team and I a cup of coffee, a bowl of fruit, or a scrumptious bowl of desserts. Either way, we'll be grateful. Those pennies and dollars, we'll invest it to new hardware, new technology, new equipment, new software, even new facilities to give you the most jaw-dropping, motivational content to empower you to have an amazing life. So get ready, ladies and gentlemen, because your life's about to change if you want it to. And I help people, ladies and gentlemen, yes, tell a story that leads to them growing a more scalable and profitable business. And I typically work with companies that bring in about 10 million or more and either know their story, want me to find their story, and yes, get it out to the world so that people can become curious and want to potentially do business with them. I hope you guys have an amazing evening because, ladies and gentlemen, the truth is, when we learn the difference between being nice and getting taken advantage of, our life will change and we won't burn out. Have yourself an amazing evening. We'll talk to you tomorrow, everyone. Be well.